Today on Low Buck Garage, we're going to be driving junk. This is a 46 CJ2A. It had a seized motor, seized transmission, rusted out brakes, rusted out floor. Yeah, it pretty much is junk. We're going to drive it. It'll be fun. So why don't you come along for the ride? Okay, so we got the Jeep on a lift. Let's check out the frame. Now, as you can see, it has a snowplow mount, and snowplows on little Jeeps like this put a lot of stress on the frame. So, yep, it's buckled, bent. That's probably why one side of the bumper sits up a little higher than the other. So, frame bent and cracked so far. We have front axles leaking oil, which is a good sign because it means there's oil in there to leak out. Then we have transfer case and transmission leaking oil, again a good sign. Floorboards, well, floorboards leave a little bit to be desired. But as you can see, I already started doing some repairs. On this side, we have a brand new floorboard. Now let's look at it from the inside, and then let's look at it from the bottom again. Completely solid. No problems there whatsoever. Okay, rear axle, again leaking. So we know we have oil there. The exhaust actually appears that the exhaust is all in one piece, even going all the way out the end of the tailpipe, which I'm sort of surprised at, but we have a complete exhaust system. As you can see with the snowplow, they built a framework under it that runs the entire length of the Jeep, goes all the way down and ties in to the front. This is severely reducing our ground clearance. Off-roading, which is what Jeeps are known for, is not going to be its strong suit. We'll check out the tires. They appear to be holding air. You can see the canvas from here, so it has canvas. That's a good sign. And the plies are there. Rear main seal is leaking. Fuel line is completely rusted off. Okay, this is the shock. Some rust, but it appears to be on the outside. This is the frame rail here. Let's get a look at that from the outside. Yep. We can see the rear axle clearly through the frame rail, so we know the rear axle is there. So really, how bad can it be? Here's the brake line, and we have this line here. There's a minor issue with it being completely rusted through. I have a feeling that's not going to hold up pressure well, seeing how it's completely open. And as soon as we pour fluid in, it will come right out. Which means we have saved ourselves time. We have no need to check the brake fluid because with a hole like that, there's not going to be any brake fluid. So, problem solved. No brakes. These are actually tires that will hold air and aren't even ruined. I found some new old stock ones on Craigslist. And so we have two tires that are in decent shape. We have almost all the lug nuts. We have at least 3 lug nuts, so we're fine there. I think we're in good shape. Okay, under the hood we are in excellent shape here. Of course the motor was seized originally. My dad and I pulled the head off, hammered the pistons free in the cylinders. Then went as far as properly cleaning up the cylinders by running them down to the bottom dead center, put a rag in them, hone the top part where the rust is, and pull the rag out, and you have a perfectly rebuilt cylinder. I did that to all 4 cylinders. Of course, we found there was a crack in the block, but it went from water jacket to water jacket, so no problem at all there. We even put in a new gasket. Some of the head bolts didn't want to tighten down. They kept turning, it wouldn't get up to torque, so I have a feeling the threads are pulling out of the block. So we stopped turning them, and then everything worked fine. We actually have new points, condenser and rotor cap. All the ignition stuff is less than 20 years old. We have the carburetor. I cleaned it out because the old one, the float had ruptured and was in pieces in the bottom of the float bowl. So we have one with a working float and passages that let fuel go through it. And on the fuel lines, the remote oil filter, before they were disconnected, so if the motor could have turned over, if it wasn't seized, it would have poured all the motor oil directly on the ground. With lines on it and the new filter, the oil will actually go through the motor and back to the oil pan, thus allowing it to run for more than 10 seconds. So we're A-OK here. We've actually started it up at one point. It's up to about 30 psi of compression, and it will run under its own power. So that's a big bonus. Okay, now we're on to the interior. The transmission was of course seized. You couldn't move the lever into any gear. I pulled the top cover off hoping it was just a problem in the shifter itself, but come to find out it was the gears rusted solidly on the shafts inside the transmission. So to properly fix them, I sprayed them down with PB Blaster, hammered the gears with a drift back and forth till they moved, and then they actually started sliding somewhat freely on their own. I fear all the pitting and extra rust will come off as it spins. So right now I only worked on first and reverse, so we have 2 gears, forward and backwards. Second and third are still seized completely, but I figure as the oil sloshes around in there, it'll all free up. So 2 gears, totally fine, we're ready to go. The transfer case actually moved with just a little bit of yanking on the lever. The levers did move and shifted. So the transfer case is mint. We have no problems there. Then we have our ignition system. This is an on-off switch for the coil. The starter button is the factory one in the floor, which does seem to function. So whole electrical system, completely fine. No problems at all. Let's look at the fuel system. We have the fuel fitting. This is the old original line that is going to nothing because there is no tank or fuel line underneath. So I fitted this rubber line. I have a filter. Then the rubber line goes around here to our tank. Now the tank is above the level of the carburetor, so we have no need for a fuel pump. This will work just fine as is. day driving junk.